Hello friends, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be doing a little bit of a thing that I've been seeing just kind of like around. Well, more specifically, one woman that I got this inspiration from, but we are going to be doing a book scavenger hunt. Now, I did not come up with this. I originally saw this from Ellen Catherine, but she did not come up with this original concept. She got it from some other tuber, but I can't remember what her name is off the top of my head. But if you want to like see Ellen like talk about like who she got this from, go to her videos. She always says it at the beginning of her videos. But I saw this and I'm like, you know what? That's a really, really fun way to kind of just like get things talking and get things like smoothing along with like figuring out what book you're going to read. You only pick out one book, and basically what it is you have a series of 10 questions. You pick books that you have read, and then at the end of the scavenger hunt, you pick one from like your TBR thing or just whatever, and then you read that, and like the latter half of the video becomes a reading vlog for that one, to be more specifically. I don't know how else to say that, but we're just going to get started with this because I don't want this intro clip to be too long. So the first question, Rachel had an original set of questions for her stuff, then Ellen decided to make her own. I'm using Ellen's questions because I want to do this a couple of times and then potentially make my own questions, because I think this could be a really, really fun way to get stuff off of my physical TBR as well too. But the first question is, choose a book with a cover you love and find a similar book with a similar cover. Okay, now I can have a lot of fun with this one more specifically. So I've obviously got my bookshelves over here, and then it's kind of covered up on my stuff, but I have my bookshelves right here more specifically. And then I also have my bookshelves down here. I'm thinking of book covers that I really, really like. One that I can really think of, but also was kind of like similar with like the series and such. You know what I might do? Let me see. Where's some books down here? Oh God, this is harder than I thought it was gonna be. I'm not gonna lie. I have a lot of covers that I personally love, but you know what? Just to start off easy, I will start off with King of Wrath. King of Wrath obviously is a cover that I really, really love and such. And obviously it's a part of a series. So naturally I have to pick up King of Pride because one, that is about as similar as you can get. And because I haven't read many, or like I have books on my like TBR, not my TBR, but like I have books on my shelf that I've read, but a lot of them have been series that I've liked or books that I really, really liked in the past, because I don't like to get books that I personally don't like. It just is something that I don't personally like. And then the next question is, turn to page 50 and find a book with that word in the title. So basically I can choose any line from page 50. Let's turn to page 50. I'll start with the first line and say, this is the part I love about writing, the light bulb moments, the unreviled of sections, bringing it closer to completion, excitement, motion, and progress. Okay, hold on. I'm kind of skimming the page. I have writing. I could do On Writing by Stephen King, but also I don't know if the next question is going to require me to, oh yeah, that's the one with list the different tropes. Let me see what I can find here. I'm kind of looking through just like, wait, I see rival. I see rival on the page, on page 50. I have divine rivals. Wait, that's perfect. Okay. It's technically rivals, but we have divine rivals by Rebecca Ross for that question. And then list the tropes in the book and then find a book with similar tropes. Okay, so similar tropes would be fantasy, rivals to lovers. I would say dislike. I would say like dislike to love probably. So I need a rivals to lovers. Rivals to lovers. Oh, that might be a little bit on the harder side. Maybe I'll also kind of extend it to enemies to lovers as well. Oh, what could I do? It's got to be a fantasy. Then again, I don't read many fantasies anymore. I don't really... Oh God, I'm really trying to think. Maybe it's a different genre, but I could do Red, White, and Royal Blue. Oh God, this is a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. But you know what? It's fine. Rivals. Obviously, we've got rivals in here. It might be a little bit Honestly, I could go with the second book in this series, but that feels like a cop-out. So I'm not going to do that. So maybe I will just go with, actually, wait a damn minute. I have technically a dark romance, but I have Hooked. And obviously, James and Wendy, I wouldn't say they're rivals, but they're like close to where like they shouldn't be together, if that makes any sense. You know what? I'm going to do that. I'm going to choose Hooked for that question. And then the next question is, now find a book with the opposite tropes of current book. Okay, so this is dark romance, so we'll probably want a light, cute, fluffy romance. Rivals to lovers, maybe friends to lovers, the thing, more than likely. Or just like that. They can't be rivals. You know that for sure. They cannot be rivals. Okay. Let me look on here. Probably be good to do a friends with lovers and friends to lovers type of situation. You know what? I could do Heartstopper. Because it's nice and fluffy. We love, well, kind of fluffy-ish, roughly. Okay, and then reverse number of pages in current book. Find a book with a similar number of pages. Okay, so let's flip to the back and see how many pages there are in this. There is a total of 263 pages. So I need a book with 362 pages roughly, or like around the 300 page mark. Okay, that should be pretty easy to do. Let me look at what the next question is. Okay, so I could do I Kiss Sarah Wheeler. Let me check how many pages that has in it. Wait. Oh, wow. This worked out really well. This book, okay, hold on. Let me see if I can show you this and such. I'm going to cover it up so y'all can't see, but this book has 366 pages. That is perfect. Okay, got that question. That was question number 5. Number 6 is find a book with a similar color scheme to current book. So the color scheme for this is very much green and pink. And maybe it doesn't have to be completely green or pink. I just need something that's mostly green. I don't know if I have a lot of those books. Obviously, one that I can think of off the top of my head that's like pretty green, but not the complete colors, is Twisted Lies. I'm gonna keep looking because of that. I see some other green ones, but some of them have not. Some of them I haven't read too much. I could do the Inheritance games, actually, you know? Those are actually, they're kind of similar color schemes. There's no pink in them, obviously. Wait. Oh, I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't stick to, should I stick to books that I haven't read before? Oh, I don't know. You know what? Just because the colors match a little bit more, I think I'm going to go with Twisted Lies for the next one. But the next question after that was, find a book with a similar color scheme. Okay, and then the next one is find a book that was published in the same year. So let's look at when this bad boy was published. All right, so copyright 2022. So this was published in 2022. I need to find a book that was also published in 2022. For some reason, Book Lovers by Emily Henry is screaming to me. I know y'all can't see me and I apologize for that, but Book Lovers is screaming to me. For some reason, I'm thinking that was released in 2022. I was right. Okay, that's perfect. So yeah, as y'all can see, it was released in 2022. Perfect. All right, let's put away Twisted Lies while we're here. Okay, so the next book is go to the first page and count the number of letters in the first word and find a book with similar letters of pages to numbers of letters. So that sounds a little bit confusing, but basically what it is I count the first word that we see on the first page, which in this case it is when. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4. So basically I find a book with 400 pages essentially. This is actually going to be kind of easy. Around the 400 page mark, that's actually going to be really, really easy. Where am I going? This is not where that goes. So we're looking for a book with around about 400 pages. I could probably do Radio Silence. I feel like that's around the 400 page mark. That's closer to 500 pages, but it's 447 pages. I kind of want something a little bit either around 450, like in between 400 and 450 pages, what I'm looking for. Let's try the Resort. Let's see how many pages Resort has in it. It's been a year since I've read the book itself. So we are just going to see. No, that's around 300 pages, roughly. That's okay. Oh, maybe I could do Sign Here. It's been a while since I've read that book. Oh, this is perfect. Covering up the page again so y'all can't see it. This is exactly 402 pages. Perfect. This is going a lot smoother than I thought it would. Okay, and then find a book with the same number of letters as pages in the title. Okay, so basically find a book with the same number of letters as pages in the title. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so I have 800 pages. Oh, that might be a little bit rough as pages in title. Okay, so we're going to need to probably break out on the 800 side. And most of those that I have are fantasies. I can see either A Court of Wings and Ruin. I also have a couple Stephen Kings that I could use potentially. I have Insomnia. Let me double check how long Insomnia is. For some reason, I'm feeling that's like close to the 800 page range. Okay, it's 789 pages. I feel like that works. So it's kind of my challenge too. So I'm using this. So we have Insomnia we're going to do. Okay, and then find a book that the title or author name starts with the last letter of the previous book. Okay, so A. Okay, so I need to find either a book that the title starts with A or the author name starts with an A. So I'm going to put this away, obviously, and then I'm going to look at my fall TBR and see what I've got on here, because that's probably the best way to look at this more specifically. Okay, so my fall TBR, I have The Pumpkin Spice Cafe by Lori Gilmore. That's obviously not going to work. I have You've Reached Sam by Dustin Thau. No. The Modern Girl's Guide to Magic by Lindsay Hall. Nope. 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle by Stuart Turton, I think is how you pronounce his name. I'm not too sure. And we have Wretched by Emily McIntyre. That's not going to work. The Queen's Rising by Rebecca Ross. Nope, that's not going to work either. Finley Donovan is Killing It by El Casamino. Nope. Vera Huang's Unsolicited Advice. Wayward. No, that's not going to work because that's Emily. Indigo Ridge is not going to work. Babel is not going to work either. The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. That technically doesn't work because the first letter doesn't start with A. That's by V.E. Schwab. Wait. Oh my God. Wait, hold on. Let me go grab it. Hold on. It's on my TBR cart, but I low-key forgot that I had this on my fall TBR because y'all will see it and such. This is going up after the fall TBR video, but it's upside down. But one of my books that I have on my fall TBR is Loveless by Alice Oseman. Alice's name starts with an A. Are we joking? This is perfect. I love this. Oh my God. Okay, so the first book that we have for the scavenger hunt is Loveless by Alice Oseman. I'm not going to start this tonight, probably. I will probably either start it tomorrow, which is a Saturday, or on Sunday, because on Saturday, I'm going to hang out with a friend, just in general, we're just hanging out, getting back into the swing of things with school and such. But I will probably either start this on my commute ride back home or on Sunday. This is perfect. Oh my God. I am so happy that this got chosen. I was looking and I was like, do I have any author names with the letter A? And I'm like, yes, I do. Miss Alice Oseman herself. We love them. We love Alice. She created one of my favorite series of all time. Heartstopper. Y'all can see it, I think. But yeah, this is the first book that we are going to have in the scavenger hunt. I'm so excited. I am so excited for this. But I will check in with you guys when I am starting to read Loveless by Alice Oseman. Hello again, friends. I'm gonna turn off my car and such like that so that, like, one, the light stays on, plus also, like, just because, you know. But I'm currently doing this update in the parking garage because I'm literally, like, on, like, what is it, Wednesday? Yeah, it's Wednesday, and I just kind of wanted to update you on how far I've made it into Loveless. So I've made it about that far. The chapters, there's no really, like, chapter names, but I've made it to, oh, hold on, let me turn that on. But I've made it to page 238, which is Capulet versus Montague, which I'm pretty sure are the names of the rival families in Romeo and Juliet, because we just got to the scene where they're at this, like, college, like, ball, essentially, you know? So we got that going on, and I'm really liking this story. It's really kind of interesting being in Georgia's, like, point of view, because the whole point of this story, I don't think I told y'all what it was about, but the point of this story is basically about this girl named Georgia. She's kind of figuring out her sexuality because she can't crush, she doesn't feel like kissing anybody, and she does not feel like having sex with anybody. So she's kind of coming to terms with the fact that she's aromantic and asexual while in her first year at university, along with, like, some of, like, her other friends as well too, who are discovering their sexualities and such. And it's really kind of interesting. We got done kind of with, like, a kind of sad part, and there's a little bit of, like, woman on woman romance in here, or for what I'm assuming at least, but I'm really liking it. Alice does a really good job at being able to talk about, like, adult things within a young adult romance, essentially. And I wouldn't even classify this as a romance. I would just say that this is like a young adult fiction novel. It's basically a young adult fiction novel, and I'm really liking it. I'm not getting 5-star feelings yet, but they're kind of like at the 4.5 to 4.75 range mostly and such. So that's what I'm feeling currently about this. I'm really liking it. I'm gonna listen to it on my way back home. It's almost 6 o'clock. I have a 45-minute drive, so that means I can get a little bit more into it. But, you know, it's like, it's really, really, really fun, to say the least, you know? So my car is telling me to, like, please turn off ignition or start engine and such. So it's gonna yell at me until I turn on the car. So I'm gonna turn this off and then turn the car back on and such like that. So yeah, we have that going on essentially. That's gonna start up again. So yeah, sorry if y'all can hear that. My car just started up again. So but yeah, I'm really, really liking this story, and I can't wait to see where we go from here, because right now, like I said, it's sitting in the 4.5, 4.75 star camp. I'm not quite getting the same feelings that I did with Radio Silent or Heartstopper, but, you know, you never know, to be honest with you. You never know. Okay, I'm gonna go home and listen to the rest of this book. Hello again, friends. So I'm coming to you with this update in the car, and basically this update is to say that I finished listening/reading to Loveless by Alice Oseman, and I know I still have a bookmark in here, but that's because there's a little short story basically talking about how she fell in love with Pippin Rooney's side story, essentially. So I'm planning on reading that probably later or listening to the rest of it. But basically I finished this book, and I hate to say it, but this is gonna be my first non-5-star of Alice Oseman's. It's a 4.5. Now, don't come at me. I really did enjoy it's not even a romance. I really enjoyed the story. I really loved the characters, but I didn't get too attached to many of the characters like I did in a Heartstopper or even Radio Silence, you know? But I still loved the story. I still loved the characters. I loved the representation of asexual and aromantic, because there's not a lot of representation with that just in general. It's very much a forgotten sexuality on the LGBTQ plus community, like spectrum, essentially. So I really liked that we were able to kind of talk about that, and how we were kind of just able to kind of talk about like so many things related to that. It was so fun. It was very sad at some points. It was extremely heartbreaking at some points, but we also got to a happily ever after. I loved being in Georgia's head. She's very much a character where you kind of like see on the outside, and she's very much like quirky, but she's also very much on the shy side, and I really loved seeing that about her, essentially. I really loved just like being able to see in her mindset, and just like kind of coming to the fact that she's kind of like, okay, it's not a spoiler and such like that, but she's kind of coming to like understand herself as like asexual, aromantic. It literally says that on the back of the book, so I'm not spoiling anything. It's not my favorite of Alice's, I will say that. It's definitely on the lower end, but a 4.5 is still a very good rating for me personally. I will not stop reading their work. I will not stop it, because they are such a great writer, not just with novels in general, but also with Heartstopper, which is their most popular book series. And basically it's a graphic novel series, essentially, which, you know, have that stuff essentially. I'm always like kind of like looking around, because I'm always apprehensive in this parking garage, just because, you know, it's where I live and that type of stuff. 4.5 on Loveless. It was good, really sweet. Loved seeing the friendships and such. And if you at any point are kind of struggling with being aromantic or asexual, I think this is a really good like source to see it kind of in fiction, because like I said, it's not talked about a lot in pop culture. It's not talked about that in that type of sense, essentially. So I think it's a really good representation for people who are kind of trying to figure out their sexuality, and I've figured out the fact that like they don't like having crushes on anybody, don't feel like kissing anyone, or don't have any romantic attraction to a certain sex, or don't have any sexual attraction to any type of sex. This is a really good representation of that, and I would 100% recommend it, not just to anybody. Well, yeah, basically not just to anybody, but I would recommend it to just like anybody who is questioning their sexuality and is like, I don't know, wondering if there's anybody that talks about asexuality and aromantics, or aroace as they are abbreviated to. This is a really good book for that, and I loved it. 4.5, like I said. But since this was the only book in this video, this is going to be the end of the book almost just went tumbling down into the abyss and such, but it didn't, thank God. But that is going to be the end of the video. Let me know if you guys liked this scavenger hunt. I know I did. It was so fun just kind of being able to like kind of like pick and choose around different books, and being able to choose this lovely book. I am so glad that I decided to pick it up like right away, and that it worked with Alice's name. That it worked with Alice's name, so I'm really happy about that. And apologies if y'all can hear cars going by. Like I said, I'm in the parking garage. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave a like, comment down below if you have done stuff like this, and also shout out to Ellen Catherine for her questions, and for the original booktuber who started this idea in the first place as well. I love you guys so much. My Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest will be in the description down below, or it might be also also popping up on the screen as well too. I have all of the links to like my music and such and all of that good stuff. And I hope you guys have an amazing day, week, month, and year. See you later, friends.